Take a look at this chip. You're about to eat a plant that started as a single seed in a field months ago. And the journey it took to get here is honestly kind of incredible. So let's follow it all the way back to the dirt. It all starts here, one corn kernel. Because a kernel isn't just food, it's a seed. Crack it open, and inside there's a tiny embryo, a baby plant packed next to its own lunchbox of starch to fuel the first few days of life. In spring, a planter rolls across the field and does something amazingly precise. It drops each seed about an inch and a half deep, evenly spaced, tens of thousands per acre. Modern fields run around 35,000 plants on a single acre, every seed placed on purpose. Then it waits for warmth. Once the soil hits about 50 degrees, the seed wakes up. A root pushes down for water, a shoot pushes up for light, and within a couple weeks, the field turns green. And corn does not mess around. In peak summer, it can grow several inches in a single day. Those big leaves are basically solar panels catching sunlight and turning it into sugar, the raw material for everything that comes next. Now, here's the part almost nobody knows. See the tassel at the very top? That's the male part, and it releases somewhere around 5 million grains of pollen. Down below, the ear is the female part, wrapped in silk, and every single strand of silk connects to one spot on the cob, one future kernel. The wind carries that pollen, and each strand of silk has to catch a grain to make a kernel grow. Miss one, and you get that gap-toothed spot on the cob. That's not a defect, that's a silk that never got pollinated. Once pollinated, the plant goes to work. It pumps all that leaf-made sugar straight into the ear, and each kernel swells and fills with starch. Fun detail for the nerds, an ear of corn almost always has an even number of rows, usually 16. Nature counts in twos. Here's where food corn is different from the sweet corn you grill. This corn stays in the field and dries right on the stalk. Green fades to gold, then to brown, and the top of each kernel dimples in. That little dent is the signal it's getting close. Then comes the machine that still amazes me, the combine. In one pass, it grabs the stalks, strips off the ears, and shells the kernels right off the cob. Thousands of kernels every second, sending the clean grain into a tank and spitting the stalks and cobs back onto the field to feed next year's soil. But it's not done yet. Fresh off the field, that corn is too wet to store, around 20-something% moisture, too damp, and it molds. So it's dried down to about 15%, the sweet spot where it can sit safely in a grain bin for months. When it's time, trucks haul it to a mill where it's cleaned, sorted, and inspected. Now, this one shipment could go 100 different directions. Today, we're making a chip. And to turn hard, dry corn into a chip, we use a trick that's about 3,000 years old. It's called nixtamalization. The corn is cooked and soaked in water with a little food-grade lime. That's not a fruit, it's calcium hydroxide, an alkaline mineral. And it does three amazing things. It loosens the tough outer skin of each kernel. It changes the starch so the corn can bind into a dough. And it unlocks nutrients, including niacin, that the human body otherwise can't get from corn. This one step is why corn could feed entire civilizations without making people sick. Ancient farmers figured out the chemistry long before anyone could explain it. That's not primitive, that's genius. After a good soak, the corn is rinsed and ground traditionally between two stones into a soft, fragrant dough called masa. Add nothing but a little water. That dough is the heart of tortillas, tamales, and yes, your chip. The mesa gets pressed thin, cut into triangles, and cooked hot and fast until it seizes up into that rigid golden crunch. A little salt, and the plant that started as one seed in the dirt is now the chip in your hand. And that's just one path. The exact same kernel could have become cornmeal for your cornbread, syrup for your soda, oil for your kitchen, starch that thickens your soup, flakes in your cereal, or feed that becomes milk, eggs, and meat. One plant. 1,000 foods hiding in plain sight. None of it happens by accident. It takes a farmer reading the weather, soil built over decades, machines engineered down to the millimeter, and know-how passed down for generations. The next time you crunch a chip, you're tasting the end of a really long, really clever journey. Oh, and one kind of corn skips all of this. It's bread, so it's shell traps steam, and it just explodes. That's popcorn, and it's what we grow. I'm Farmer Bob at Princeton Popcorn. Grab a bag at princetonpopcorn.com or find us on Amazon and follow along because next time we're tracing a whole different crop from the field to your plate.